What's up, connoisseurs? It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Saturday. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's April 19th. Happy 420 Eve. We're going to jump into another rapid fire news update, this time from April 12th to the 18th. And again, it's not a deep dive or anything like that. It's just a high level overview. In case you missed it, before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on these weekly MJ updates and rapid fire news updates, and anytime I post new content. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter, and the handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I also posted a couple of days ago the interview with CEO of Tilray Brands, Irwin Simon, getting a lot of great feedback on that one, about 3,000 views on it already. And yeah, I really do appreciate all of the support in making it happen. And shout out to the Pow Group private community as well for assisting crafting those questions. And yeah, we had, I think, 150 questions at one point. Most interviews, I struggle to get 10 or 15 questions, and I had 10 questions just on the if I have time section. But yeah, I had about 150 questions, condensed it into about 30 or 40, and then it really only had time for about 20 or 25 questions, I think it was. But if you haven't seen that, check it out. Like I said, getting a lot of really great feedback from that. And I'm going to be looking to bring them back on again in the future, but also interview other CEOs in the space. So if you want to be involved in that process, you can join the Pow Group private community if you so wish. And like I said, participate in crafting and selecting those questions. Also, the legal MJ sales reached 2.15 billion across the US in March, topping 6 billion in the first quarter of 2025. Still, some people think that this isn't going to be a very big business. I would argue the contrary. This is huge, topping 6 billion in the first quarter of 2025. That is massive. Just imagine what it's going to be. It's not going to be a $1 trillion market or anything. We're expecting somewhere around 30 to 40 billion by 2030, but still very, very big business. Also, USMJ Roundtable is still optimistic that rescheduling is on the table. So there's been a lot of concern. There's been a lot of skepticism on whether or not there's going to be something done under this new administration. I do believe that there will be. I think safe banking, some sort of banking reform, and then there's some new legislation that was reintroduced. We'll be discussing that a little bit later on in the video. But Avicanna also reported their full year 2024 audited financial results. They had record revenue, and then they also had gross margins of 51%. So love to see that, and they dipped out of the red. So love to see that. Company is a medical company, and I've interviewed the CEO, Aras Azadian. If you haven't seen that, you can check it out as well. Also, NBA Hall of Famer Carmelo Anthony brings MJ brand agency to New York. The former Knicks player is rolling out his brand, Stay Me 70. Stay Me 70 or Stay Me 70, I'm not 100% sure. An MJ focused agency, Grand National in the Empire State. Also, Wiz Khalifa, saw a video of him on X, and basically giving a shout out to Trulieve, asking to check out their dispensaries. So you're starting to really see the industry go mainstream. Also, Boris Jordan, CEO of Cureleaf, said, proud to unveil Anthem, our new pre-roll brand celebrating American-grown MJ. So MJ's America's crop. MJ is America's crop, and it's past time for U.S. legislators to treat the state legal industry accordingly. So you can see it's kind of a cigarette vibe. They look like cigarettes in a cigarette pack, kind of similar, but it looks like they're just using kind of the older paper, and they're not the Slims or anything like that. But if anybody has tried these, please let me know. Also, Memedica to become official license holder and distributor of MJ Giant cookies in the UK. There were some rumors going around that this involved Tilray, but I put those rumors to bed in the interview with Irwin. Again, if you haven't seen that, you can check it out. Trulieve donates $19.6 million to 2026 Florida MJ legalization campaign with over 150,000 signatures already collected. So we know it just fell short in November, and it was, I think, 57%. They needed 60%. So it came very, very close to passing Amendment 3. And we know that the current president was in favor of Amendment 3. So I think the writing is on the wall. It's just a matter of when, not if. And at the moment, everybody and their dog thinks that there's nothing going to happen for the next 4 years, 8 years. Nothing ever is going to happen, right? But that's very naive thinking, right? We know that It's just a matter of when, not if. Also, Florida lawmakers unanimously approve bill to make medical MJ cards free for military veterans. So this is another thing, right? Like it's medicine of the future. This isn't just an alternative to alcohol and tobacco and recreational, activities. This is medicine, right? And there's some more exciting information pertaining to medicine of the future a little bit later on in the video. Also, SNDL is set to announce first quarter 2025 financial results on May 1st, 2025. Some people are very confused by this. Again, for some companies have different fiscal quarters, so you can have a different quarter in a different calendar quarter. So it's their first quarter 2025. For example, Tilray just released their Q3 2025 earnings, right? So just different fiscal year ends. Also, MJ operator SNDL now listed in its stock on the Canadian Securities Exchange. So I'm surprised that I was surprised by this move actually, but I mean, the more the more publicity, the more access they have to different markets, I guess, the better. But yeah, they're listed on U.S. major exchanges. So I was a little, I was a little shocked because usually the CSE is kind of the stepping stone to those bigger exchanges, but just looking to expand their access, I guess, never a bad thing. Also, Green Market Report: hemp beverages beat craft beers when it comes to tariffs. And actually, Irwin in my interview said that they're not paying any tariffs on the hemp drinks that they're shipping from Canada to the US. So that was interesting. Now, I did not expect that. Also, Curaleaf celebrates the opening of the hemp company retail storefront in West Palm Beach, Florida. So I believe this was the first, yeah, the company's location is the first licensed dispensary to transition into a dedicated hemp store. So they had all kinds of merchandise and things like that. You could buy clothing, but drinks and edibles. And yeah, if anybody is in the area, check it out. I think it'd be pretty cool. You don't need a medical card or anything like that, right? Because it's all legal under the Farm Bill. So if you go in and present your ID, you're good to go. Also, Aurora, where's there's the title. Aurora MJ introduces inhalable resin carts for patients in the UK. The Canadian MJ company is expanding its medical MJ offering with an innovative dosage solution. So, Aurora making big waves in the industry lately, and we're paying close attention to them. I've actually been building a position ever since they've been transitioning over to the medical and international markets, focusing less on recreational, especially in Canada. I don't even think they're in the top 20 producers anymore in Canada. But that's why we've seen such a surge in their earnings recently, is because they're not paying. I did a video on their last earnings. They barely paid any excise taxes, right? That's because they're focusing on international and medical, and not focusing as much on Canada, which has about 1/3 of top line revenue going to excise tax alone. Also, US MJ market projected to reach 76 billion by 2030. So this is up dramatically, driven by legalization, health demand, and industry expansion. It was forecasted, I think, somewhere around like the mid 30s to 40 billion. So interesting to see that it's essentially doubled from there. But I've always been on the record to say that crypto. There's a reason why I'm invested in crypto, and I understand people in MJ think it's just magic internet money, and it's rat poison. Whatever you think about it, that's your own prerogative. But at the end of the day, the crypto market cap right now is in the trillions. It's almost 3 trillion, right? And it's exceeded that before. And we're talking it's going to be 50 trillion to 100 trillion in the not too distant future. Possibly by 2030, it could hit 50 trillion with a T. So again, MJ will be lucky to get to 1 trillion by 2040, or ever. It's going to be very difficult for it to do that. So given enough time, maybe 2040, 2050. But it's not really apples to apples here. It's apples to oranges. And like I said, there's a reason why I have more dollars, my hard-earned money, into crypto, is because I think the opportunity is a lot greater. I mean, from a percentage standpoint, we're going to see tons of life-changing wealth and gains off of the low on MJ, because you have to think more in percentages versus price or market cap or total addressable market. If you have a stock that's at a penny and it goes to $3, right? Like, for example, Oxley, it was at almost $3 and then hit a penny, and now, just recently it hit 10.5 cents. So that was a 10x opportunity just off the low of 1 penny. So there's a lot of opportunity here from a percentage perspective, and multiplier effect off of some of these names. But again, that's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. That's just my own game plan and trade. But I think Oxley, some of these companies, they're going to be massive opportunities in the long term. Also, lawmakers in Chile introduced bill to legalize MJ cultivation and possession for everyone 18 plus. So love to see it. Game theory playing out. Once one falls, they all fall. And again, the US is never first and never last. They don't have to be first. They definitely don't want to be last, but they don't have to be first because they have the biggest economy in the world. And once they get behind something, they'll leapfrog everyone else. Also, Tilray Brands ranks number 4 on the Brewers Association list of top producing craft brewers in the US and number 12 in the top 50 overall brewing companies in just 5 short years. So love to see it. Most of it has been by way of acquisition, but I think they're going to be, they mentioned, Irwin mentioned in the recent interview that I posted the other day that they might be looking at other accretive M&A and strategic opportunities and investments, but I wouldn't expect too many more acquisitions, maybe a couple. And I think they're just going to really focus on the brands that they have. Like I said, being thankful for what they have and working with what they have and building that out. Also, bipartisan Pennsylvania lawmakers announced new plan to legalize MJ this year. So love to see it. This could become the 25th state to legalize at the recreational level and a huge, huge market as well. CBD also helped relieve chronic pain in more than 98% of patients, newly published study finds. So again, medicine of the future. Follow the science. Someone should send an email or reach out to Shamath Palihapitiya. This guy, I don't know what he's smoking, but it's definitely not MJ. Definitely not medicine of the future. I think it's something else that is on Schedule 1. Maybe meth or heroin or something. This guy is out to lunch, man. Betting Bruiser also doesn't agree with what he had to say. He said, if you haven't already lost complete respect for Shamath, reason number 420 right here. I think MJ is the most insidious of drugs. It is legal in many states and it's socially acceptable to many. And it's relatively easy for kids to hide, access, and consume. But the science is beginning to tell a very ugly story. We should never have legalized it, but now that it is, I hope we do something to mandate standard toxicity and concentration labeling at a minimum. This stuff is turning plurality of our kids into zombies. And then he gives an article here. Like, is he not paying attention? Like, is he just cherry picking one like bogus article and not following the science? Like, this guy got absolutely chewed out. I commented, got 487 likes on mine, and this guy just he sold his soul, right? I mean, if it's easy for kids to access, hide, and consume, all the more reason to legalize it. Like, make it more difficult. And if you come to Canada and you're a kid, you're not going to I can't even bring my daughter into an MJ store. I took her in with the stroller one time, but I didn't know, right? And I thought it was the same as a liquor store. You can take them in, it's fine. I've done that before. I never got completely shunned out of the store, but walked in with her and they were like, nope, you have to leave now. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you're not getting in there unless you have an ID and you look somewhat, of age. So, and the first thing they do as soon as you walk in is they ID you, right? So there's no way it's happening. And like I said, most of this is the hemp industry. So all the more reason to legalize and create clear rules of the road and regulations for both the hemp and it's all one plant, right? So all the more reason to legalize it. I posted a video of this as well on my thoughts and opinions if you want to check that out. But new poll reveals that most Canadians see MJ as a key pillar of Canada's economic future, and 64% want the government to support industry growth. So, and not support them growing the plants, them growing the industry, right? Like, lower taxes, essentially, make it more accessible, right? Have different options at restaurants and on tap at bars and things like that, right? Where you can buy it at events. And here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, we actually had the Great Comedy Outdoors Festival, and Kevin Hart was there, and they had the first ever event where you could purchase MJ products from Plant Life, was the company's name. You could buy MJ products right on site at the event. So we're starting to see it. There's a restaurant just up the street from me called CBD CBN, and they do different mixes. They do mix of food and cocktails. You can go, $125 a person. You can do a whole, 4 or 5 course meal, and they MJ infused everything into it. They get away with it because it's an education kind of model, but eventually we'll start to see the laws be relaxed and start to support the industry, and excise tax obviously being a huge thing, right? Also, in a major move, Mike Tyson takes over as CEO of industry giant Tyson 2.0. So assuming direct control over the MJ company. I was going to ask Irwin Simon about this, but I just didn't have time and it wasn't on the top of the list. But we know that they had the partnership with Tyson 2.0 to bring their products to Canada. And they also had partnership with Jones Soda, canned beverages as well. So Tilray definitely the preferred partner for a lot of these companies looking to for distribution deals and licensing and etc. Speaking of Tilray, they announced the proposed reverse stock split and corresponding special meeting of stockholders. So again, I asked Irwin about this. What was the rationale behind doing this early? We knew they had a 6-month period, 180 days. They could have got a 180-day extension. A lot of people are very upset about this. There's a lot of people saying they're going to vote no. I would probably hazard a guess it's going to come in somewhere around the 94% of shareholders are going to vote in favor of it. But again, check out my recent interview. I also did a video on this specifically with my thoughts and opinions. And in the interview with Irwin that I just posted a couple days ago, he addresses that, so you can check that out. Also, Curaleaf expands Florida retail footprint with opening of Winter Park Dispensary. A lot of news this week. We're bringing it home now, though. Tilray Medical introduces MJ edibles in Australia, new pastels. We also had bipartisan legislation to end federal MJ prohibition in legal states filed in the U.S. House. So federal lawmakers have reintroduced the States 2.0 Act, which would end federal MJ prohibition in states that have legalized it. And this was filed by Dave Joyce, Max Miller, and Dina Titus. So we'll see. It's an exciting time. We're starting, and this would be in line with the new administration's thinking as well, is leaving it up to the states, right? And there was also a GOP congressman and House Democratic leader team up to prepare for federal MJ legalization with alcohol-like regulations. I've been saying for a while now, it's going to be regulated the same. It's going to be treated just like alcohol and tobacco, maybe even on its own pedestal. It shouldn't be treated like those. Those are poison, and this is medicine. But a GOP congressman and the top House Democrat are teaming up on a new bill to lay out groundwork for federal MJ legalization. On the same day, he announced the refiling of the separate bipartisan measure to end prohibition in states that have legalized MJ. Dave Joyce has again reintroduced the Preparing Regulatories Effectively for a Post-Prohibition Adult Use Regulated Environment Act, PREPARE Act. So again, this is an exciting time. Again, this industry doesn't care, though. Some people were asking me, why isn't stock prices going up? Well, they kind of did on last week. We had Canadian MJ spiked. The next day, we had US MJ take a turn. But, we're only up, just over double digits. The sector doesn't care. In my opinion, we need something to actually happen. We need concrete bills being passed by the House and the Senate. We need the full process to play out, right? We need either safe banking, uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. We actually have that happen. Rescheduling 280E gets removed. It's enacted. It's not just progress and hopes and promises. And, the new theme right now is promises made, promises kept by the new administration. And the new administration has said they support rescheduling. They support banking. They support medical. They said, the data and what the doctors have been saying from a medical standpoint has been nothing short of amazing. So the writing is on the wall, folks. It's just not a priority right now. Like I said, every second word out of the new administration's mouth is crypto, blockchain, and AI. So eventually, MJ will be the focus, in my opinion. And with big tech, crypto, AI entering the end of its bull market, I think we're going to see this multi-year bear market at the same time come to a conclusion, and we're going to start to see that rotational play into MJ. Speaking of AI, a new study says that an AI system can identify MJ with over 97% accuracy using trichome microscopy. So again, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? We're just scratching the surface here on what AI is going to be able to do from a cultivation standpoint, from a data analytics perspective, to know your customer, right? From data trends and just analyzing different customers, and then couple it with research and studies and medicine of the future and scientific breakthroughs. There's going to be so much potential here. It's not even funny with the help of AI. Also, never like to see this Green Market Report, which is a Crane-run, family-run organization. They are closing effective. This was yesterday. Thank you to our readers and our supporters. MJ is hard, media is hard. MJ Media is doubly hard. So I definitely, appreciate all the support that they did for the industry. And you never like to see this, but don't worry. If you're listening to me, I'll be picking up the pieces. There's nothing that would ever stop me from reporting on this industry ever. So that's my promise to each and every one of you, is I will be here as long as I am breathing. I will be here making MJ content, supporting this amazing industry and medicine of the future. But we definitely understand how some people, it's a lot of time, right? And if you don't have the 110% passion and gung ho to keep doing it, you know, you're not going to stick to it. So that's why I love doing it. It's fun for me. It's not a chore. It's not work. It's a passion, and I would be doing it regardless of compensation or anything like that. Right? It's just my absolute love, and I just, you know, I truly believe that I was put on this earth to spread the MJ gospel, if you will. So I consider myself a pioneer, and I will continue to support this industry. And like I said, my promise to you is to give the most honest and you know, unbiased and truthful reporting and thoughts and opinions on this sector. And again, support each and every one of you, and through the thick and the thin, right? I don't just come out of the woodwork when things are going up, when prices are going up, so I look, you know, I look smart. And you know, people criticize me all the time. And look at, you've been investing in this sector in the last 4 years, 5 years. All it has done is has bled out, right? But guess what? It took you know, some of these big tech companies a decade before they hit new all-time highs, right? Amazon dropped 95%. It took about 10 years for after that for a lot of big tech, including Amazon, on average to hit new all-time highs, right? Not saying it's going to take 10 years for MJ. It could, but at the end of the day, you know, if we waited this long, nothing's going to go in a straight line down forever. And same thing to the upside. Also, Tilray's 420 special offer is 25% off site-wide on Happy Flower hemp drink. So you can go to drinkhappyflower.com and Happy Pour 20. Love the branding here and the pun in the play on words. But yeah, you can get 25% off. Just go to their website and you get hooked up with that. Also, can MJ help treat cancer? What largest ever study reveals. So the research, which was funded by Cancer Playbook, a collaborative effort with the whole House of Oncology Institute to collect and analyze patient-reported data, is based on a review of over 10,000 studies related to medical MJ and cancer. So the new study has uncovered significant evidence supporting the use of medical MJ in cancer treatment. The study suggests medical MJ may not only alleviate symptoms, but also combat the disease itself. So I mean, I don't think I've ever doubted this. There's a reason why, right? There's big pharma doesn't want this secret to get out. Like I said, I worked for a big pharma company, a multi-billion-dollar company, and they were involved in the opioid crisis. They were fined billions of dollars for their role in that. And then after, you know, they got that fine and the crackdown on opioid, and we had the opioid crisis, all they could talk about was CBD and different cannabinoid-based, you know, products for about 2 years straight. And that's just all you need to know right there. Also, exclusive. Green-fingered King Charles, who is currently battling cancer, and you know, thoughts go out to him, and hopefully, you know, he's able to pull through. He's 76. He's secretly growing MJ supply on royal grounds to kill the pain of brutal cancer fight. So again, this isn't, you know, he's not just smoking this because he wants to have fun and unwind, although that's perfectly fine if you're an adult and it's legal in your area and you're an adult and you want to do that, by all means, right? We can consume cigarettes and alcohol until, you know, we can go to a casino and gamble all our money away, but we can't, you know, grow a plant and choose to smoke it if we desire, or, you know, put it in an edible. It's just a little ridiculous, but you have to remember that this is actually treating, you know, different diseases and disorders. You know, think of epilepsy and, you know, pain, anxiety, sleep. Like there's so many things. That's just scratching the surface, right? There's literally hundreds of different applications for this amazing and magical plant and medicine of the future. So one thing, I'll end it off here. If there's any decoders in the house, if you, I posted on X, interesting. If you go to the gematria calculator, and I'm not, you know, huge on decoding, but you can't really make this stuff up. If you go into the gematria, just Google 420 gematria, and it comes up right on the list. It says Republican and cancer cure. What did we just have? A complete clean sweep in the US in terms of elections? And what have we been seeing a lot of recently? I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything more. I'll let you decide. But going in it there, it's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. And I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Let me know what you think of this news in the comment section. We'll continue the conversation there. Whoa, what a week. Lots of news. Never a dull moment, that's for sure. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend once again, and we'll see you on the next video.